Hey, I'm Renee, but you can call me Blade, and this is the Oh My God Show. In 2012, I was so excited that I finally graduated from university after starting over from scratch after failing out or not getting the chance to finish college that I attended to prior to starting over at a new school. And very, very long story, but I was really excited. I had finished. I was doing something that I thought was like, so cool. I wanted to do it, and now I am finished. And I got my letter from student loan, and me nearly dropped down. I didn't feel like I wanted to faint, but that's like, the Jamaican way of saying me nearly dropped down, meaning I was shocked. Like, I think when I finished paying for and yeah, I don't want to try to convert the money to US dollars, even though I know that this is on the internet, because I don't want to get too confused. But also, I remember when I finished paying off my student loan, and I told one of my friends from the US, and my friend was telling me that, I think when I calculated the total, when it converted to US, it might have not been that much money, because obviously we are paying back our loan in Jamaican dollars. The school fee was in Jamaican dollars, and I'm paying back in Jamaican dollars. And for that person, they still had their student loan, but they were saying, wow, like if it's that less money that we have to pay in Jamaica, it will be fine for them. But then the thing is that the salaries of that we're getting in Jamaica is probably, I don't know, it's probably gonna be the same. So I think if you are listening to this video, even if you're not from Jamaica, you could just try to listen to the figures and the ratios and stuff like that, so that you could get the chance to see that you could get to see that to get a better understanding of what I am saying. And please forgive me if I sound like I'm all over the place. I thought about this video so long, trying to figure it out, maybe over a week now. There are too many things I want to talk about, too much things that I could say, so please forgive me. If you want to ask further questions, you can comment down below or email me, and if you want to get some clarification in case I'm being crazy. So over the period, and I'm just rough telling you what I can remember off the top of my head, because clearly when I was going through it at the time, I never knew I would sit down in front of a camera to talk about it on YouTube or anything like that. And I never thought that at 34 I would be talking about the fact that I paid it off some years ago. And because when I finished school, I got 11 years to pay off. I'm supposed to finish paying at 41. I don't not doing the maths right now, but I remember that time when I finished, I calculated I should have finished paying at 41. So 34 from 41. But as I said, the maths with student loan doesn't really work. You can't always calculate everything and it add up. Like, you will always have gaps and stuff that you can't understand, based on my personal experience with them. And so that time I was like, okay, because the figures as well go up based on how quickly you're able to pay them off, how long you're able to pay them off, whenever you have gaps of months or years or so where you don't pay. So you cannot just sit down and say, oh, this is what I am going to pay, or whatever it is. It can get really crazy, the figures. So let's just say that when I finished as well, and I did all of the calculation, I remember calculating that, I should finish paying at age 41, which would have been, I think, 11 years after I finished the thing. And I borrowed from them over 800,000 Jamaica at the time, I think, something like that, plus or minus, give me some grace, yeah. So let's say like 800,000 for because I think it was 200,000 at the time per year for the school fee. And for someone where I was working and nobody was giving me anything, like 200,000, and that's just for the school fee. Imagine what the living expenses and stuff, which I had to find other ways to substitute my income, very legal ways though, I might add. But let's just concentrate on the student loan itself in this video. And so I paid around 800 and odd. I borrowed in cash, I think, that they sent to the school, about 800,000. When I finished, the note that they gave me was 2.7 million Jamaican dollars, right? Oh my gosh, that sounded like me would have never ever get to pay that off in my whole life. Maybe I'm a great grandfather, I go still a pay. But anyway, just exaggerating a bit, but it was a big shocker as well. The next shocker came when I eventually got a job, and the salary that I was getting didn't seem like it would, bring me anywhere anytime soon. And then the next thing was when they gave me that note, like they were insisting on getting over 50% of my salary towards the loan payment, while I worked with the government, and they said that while I needed a degree for the position, but they couldn't afford to pay me for the degree. And I'm not pushing the government or anything like that. I'm not trying to cause trouble, but I'm just trying to deal with the issue of the student loan, how I dealt with it. So as I say, I borrowed the people their money, and I feel like I'm supposed to pay them back, because they never come on me and come beg me to borrow the loan, and me gonna the office can beg them. And there was a lot of begging, a lot of drama. One time they even take back some loan drop. Anyway, this thing is too complicated. Anyway, let me see if I can stay on track to make the video simple. And so 8 and 8 are 16, right? So it's over, I don't even know how much, 100% interest or whatever it is, right? That it gone clear up at 2.something million, right? So I think I got over the shock. I don't know how long it took me to start paying, but I realized, shoot, you need to start paying this thing, because you kind of feel defeated too when you feel like, oh, I will probably never pay it. I don't know if that's what contributes to some people just don't bother to try, because you feel like you're not going to get to pay them off, because you can't understand, you can't get to pay them the big old money. So it was a lot of money, and a lot compared to what I borrowed, and I had no idea because I didn't do my research, and I also felt I had no choice. There was no other option, because if you were to borrow from the bank, I think you could do it per year, like what one of my friends' mom did. She borrowed per year and pay per year, and of course it would be different. But then I didn't have any. You'd have to have a job and collaterals and whatever to get loan from the bank. So that wasn't gonna happen in my case. And yes, so after having a period where I worked, and I realized that with my degree it wasn't working out. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. My savings was, every month I would just go back to like eating hand to mouth and stuff like that. And I decided that, okay, I'm gonna see if I can leave Jamaica, not to run away from the student loan. That was an next drama too, but I just feel like I needed to do something different. So during that period of trying, you see, when you take a leap of faith, it doesn't come easy. You have a lot of challenges that might come your way when you're trying to take a leap of faith, you know what I mean? So during that time now, it raised up. And then what really got me to the point where I wanted to really pay off the loan now is when they started to threaten me to put my face in the paper. And one thing that was also confusing to me was that at the time they had the information of my guarantor, they had my email and everything. And I thought, sorry, when I was hearing about student loan before it was my turn to pay, was that a delinquent would be someone who wasn't paying and probably just disappeared. But during that time when they were threatening to put my face in the paper, I was paying them, because by then I had gotten a new job, and I had started to pay them again. So I was very confused. You have the information of my guarantors. They didn't change my number. They were talking to one specific young lady, one of my very good friends, who really saved me practically by signing up for my degree, even though she was discouraged to sign up for my paper. This young lady was my age. I don't even remember how. She was working before me or something. I don't know how, but she was able to sign for me, and they allowed her. And oh my gosh, they started harassing her a lot as well. And not only did I have to feel bad for myself, but I had to feel bad that they were harassing this innocent lady who just went on a limb to try to help me. I'm not even a relative, I'm just her friend, but she did that for me. Thank you, my darling. And yeah, so it got really crazy, and I got really confused again, because how can I be delinquent when I am not? But I guess I am delinquent, and because I am reachable, but my money, I don't know if it wasn't coming fast enough or whatever it was for them. And I had decided that I was just gonna be paying them the payment. By now I could afford to pay them what they asked would have been more than half of the old salary, but now it was okay for me to pay them that amount. So I was like, okay, I'm not even going to worry, because as I said, I thought 11 years in the future I would be paying them and stuff, so what is the hurry? So I was gonna just be paying them monthly, but the amount of harassment that I got, and even I didn't understand how they could be threatening to put my face in the paper while I was still paying them for the loan, was beyond me. So eventually now, and I had moved to a foreign country, and I was like, I prefer to trust my people, and pay them month by month than to put myself in a position of borrowing loan from a foreign bank to pay them back, which, as I said, the pressure was too much. Eventually I started to ask the lady what is the closing balance and all of this, and just to see if I would get a little bit of hope as to how to pay them off. So I ended up borrowing the money from the bank, and big difference now. This time I'm older and wiser. So from the very day when I'm signing the paper for that bank loan, I know how much I'm borrowing. I know how much percentage interest rate. I know exactly how much they will collect per month, and I know how long the loan was going to be. And I think they wanted to drag it out some time for me to pay the bank longer, and I was like, no. So by me reducing the time too, that even the bank was offering me a longer time to pay, I was like, no. So it would have meant as well that I had to make some more sacrifice and just be like, yeah, I want to hurry up and pay off this thing within a shorter time, because I don't want to hear my name calling up with loan again and something like that. So I was able to borrow the loan from a bank. Thank God, with the other job now they're using I didn't have to have that house and land collateral thing, whatever, but I was, so I was able to borrow from that bank to pay off the balance. Now the thing is that when I did that, because when I did it, it was 6 to 8 years early. As I said, the maths can be crazy depending on how you pay and when you have gaps and stuff. And in my case, when you have gaps, I think it's even worse for you, or those periods where you stop paying it. One of my friends told me that she stopped paying for a while, and the loan went back up as if she wasn't paying all of that money within that time. So be very careful with that as well, guys. Try to be consistent, and in the meantime, you're trying to figure out ways to quickly pay them off. Now, when I paid, because when I borrowed that loan, it also reduced when I borrowed and paid them off, like at that time, it reduced significantly the balance, because all of those 11 years, I guess, of interest or installments that would have been there, I mean, probably 6 or 8 more years after that, just seemed to go down. And so in the end, when I paid them off, it was 1.7 million balance. Now, I didn't borrow 1.7 from the bank, but remember that I was paying it from, I was in Jamaica, I was paying it after some time. So I had my time when I keep, when you're a student loan, you always feel like you're not really that free, and especially if you have shame and something like that and you want to pay them. And I think they probably put more pressure on you if they know that you really want to pay. So anyway, so the figures are crazy, but I borrowed 800 and something thousand. When I finished university, they wanted me to pay them 2.7 million. And it was supposed to take 11 years. I ended up paying them in a far less time, and I saved 1 million Jamaican dollars, because I closed off the account early. Of course, when I closed off the account with student loan, I still had to finish with the bank, but it was much more straightforward, and I never had any issues with the bank because everything was there. So for me, that is a very big testimony, because I never know that I would be able to finish paying them off, and the way how things are with them. And I was, as I said, afraid to borrow to pay them back. But again, I still had to have the discipline to be like, I'm not going to come and drag out another loan with another institution. So I have to tighten up my budget, tighten up my something, walk past some cute dresses and some nice shoes, and pay off people their money so that they can stop thing there. Oh my gosh, actually, you don't know how me feel when time I go. So me go back to Jamaica now and go up to the office and something, and they gave me because I have to make sure I had to make sure I couldn't just take the word for it, because at the time I wire transferred the rest of the money to them and stuff, and they give you the options of the banks and stuff that you want to use. And then I went into the office to make sure that one day I'm not walking around and I see myself in a paper, I'm not modeling. So anyway, they wrote three, I think at one point I had 3 different letters. I had 2 guarantors. One guarantor had decided not to sign for me, and I think that's what my girlfriend had to sign last minute and stuff like that in the end. But anyway, so the 3 persons who during the period of the time had signed for me, but I think you only need 2 guarantors, but somebody just back out like, yo, me not sign again for this area. So I was desperate, and God just really used that young lady to sign the paper for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have finished my degree. So those 3 persons who signed for me now, they wrote them a letter that says like I wrote a letter that I got a copy, and the other person printed out everything that says that you and your guarantors are no longer in obligation to the student loan bureau, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, God, like, and you know, even that time when it happened a few years back, I didn't even see the significance of it until I start talking again to people with, you know, student loan, and I know how it feels like. And I am not smarter or brighter. Some of us, you know, some of you, we went to college together, or we went to neighboring university together, or went to the other college I went to together, or it's not about I'm not brighter or better or smarter or anything, but you have to know that God is able to do it, you know. And don't allow any debt to hold you back to the point where you are in your career, you're in your profession, and you cannot have fun, you can't smile, you have to hide from your phone, you have to hide from this, because you know you feel like they're going to be calling you, or you open your email and that's what's gonna happen. Just think about it in a really more constructive way. Find a solution, and I believe that God will make a way. And for some of you gonna say, oh well, I'm in the same job. Yes, you still can do something in the same job that you are in until God will make a way for you. So as I said, while I was in that job, I was still paying them something. You know, I was still paying them something. Maybe it wasn't good enough for them, but I was still paying. And that attitude of, you know, paying and stuff. And when I left Jamaica, they didn't know where I went to, but I have the decency to find them, track them down, and then, yeah, so that they can decide that they want to publish my face in the paper. But anyway, that was just me being honest. So I decided that I was gonna contact them and tell them I'm gonna pay off per month, and apparently they were still, you know, stressing me out and stuff. And I'm happy and grateful to the Student Loan Bureau that God was able to use them to bless me so that I could have a degree at this point in my life. And whether I feel like I'm using it or not, I'm sure I'm still using it. I'm using my brain, and God has been faithful, and so faithful to me in so many ways. And this is a very big testimony. And so far though too, every time when I complain about, oh, I haven't achieved this or this or that or whatever, or I think, oh my gosh, I should have been smarter with my money, I always feel good. It's as if for some reason paying off my student loan feel like it's one of my biggest achievements in many years. And it might not be a big deal for some people, I don't know. And I'm sure maybe if you're watching this video, you probably haven't paid off yours yet. But know that you can pay it off. Maybe be better than me and faster than me, you know, because God is a provider, you know. And we didn't have anything. Some of us were not from rich families. That's why we are in this kind of trap of the student loan, because people were richer. Some of people, either they have ways to pay for their kids' fees, or maybe they know better than to get yourself in this kind of loan that you might not be able to pay off quickly. But I would say that just do your best in the job that you are in and the position you are in, because sometimes too there are promotions that are waiting for you that will help you to be able to pay more on the monthly payments or whatever you need to do to get rid of the loan. Or sometimes you really never know where that help is going to come from. But for you to feel like you didn't do anything wrong by getting that loan, that loan has opened a lot of doors for you. That degree is opening a lot of doors for you. And even if you don't have a job as yet, you can create a job, because they taught us enough in the school for us to be able to even create our own jobs, our own businesses. It's just that a lot of us are taught to wait on someone to give us a job instead of actually going out there and to make something of yourself. But think of everything that you can, but don't be like thinking of yourself like, pity poor me, I could never. I could never. So I'm sitting here at 34 years old, not 41 yet, and I already finished paying them off maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I forgot to check everything, but all I know is that I don't owe them any more money, and I'm very happy for that. And I'm encouraging you that if Renee Wilmot, Miss Laura granddaughter, can do it, then you can. So bye for now. See you next time. I'm Blade and I'm cutting. Bye.